Welcome to the RSI Entry Engine User Guide. In this video, I will walk you through the full structure of the indicator, step by step. You will learn how to install it, how to read the RSI logic, how reclaim signals work, how trade projections are created, how alerts are used, and how to review setups with a more disciplined workflow. This tool is designed as a decision support and signal review system. It does not guarantee results, and it does not replace proper risk management. Everything shown in this guide is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. This is the RSI Entry Engine User Guide. The goal of this guide is to help you understand the indicator from zero. You will learn how to set it up on TradingView, how to read the smooth RSI logic, how trade projection works, and how to use alerts and signal review in a clean workflow. The indicator is built around structured RSI behavior, not random signals. Instead of reacting emotionally to every RSI movement, this guide will help you understand the logic behind each part of the system. In this guide, we will follow a simple roadmap. First, we install the tool and add it to the chart. Then we learn how to read the interface, the RSI pane, the price chart, the projection boxes, the labels, and the status panel. After that, we configure the core settings, including RSI length, smoothing, levels, stop modes, and risk-reward settings. Finally, we apply the workflow, waiting for reclaimed signals, confirming on bar close, using alerts, and reviewing each setup with structure. The main goal is not to chase random signals. The main goal is to turn RSI behavior into a structured decision support workflow. RSI Entry Engine transforms raw RSI behavior into a more structured visual system. It uses smoothed RSI, RSI state zones, reclaim logic, trade projection, status panels, and alerts. The indicator separates oscillator behavior into clear conditions, such as extreme high, overbought, centerline, oversold, and extreme low. It can also show projected entry, stop loss, and take profit areas directly on the chart. But it is important to understand one thing clearly. This is not an auto trading bot. It is a decision support and review tool designed to help you read RSI behavior with more clarity. Before using the indicator, you need to know which setup path applies to you. There are two main installation methods. The first method is for users who receive the Pine script code. In that case, you open Pine Editor, paste the full code, save it, and add it to the chart. The second method is for users who received TradingView access. In that case, you open the Indicators menu, find the script in your invite-only or private scripts, and add it directly to your chart. No matter which path you use, the core setup flow is the same. Open the chart, install the script, configure the settings, wait for bar close confirmation, and review projection and alerts. Before installing or evaluating the indicator, prepare your chart environment. Start by choosing the symbol you want to analyze. This can be Forex, crypto, indices, stocks, or any market supported by TradingView. Next, choose your time frame. Lower time frames usually produce more signals, while higher time frames may produce fewer but cleaner signals. Then clean the workspace. Remove unnecessary indicators, drawings, and panels so you can clearly see what the RSI Entry Engine is showing. Before live use, test the indicator across different symbols and time frames. Your symbol and time frame directly influence signal frequency and behavior. If you receive the code version, you will install it through Pine Editor. First, open Pine Editor at the bottom of the TradingView chart. Then, create a new indicator and remove any default template code. After that, paste the full RSI Entry Engine code into the editor. Make sure the script starts with the correct Pine script version line and that the full code is pasted as one complete block. Most installation errors come from incomplete copying, missing quotes, broken formatting, or missing lines. Once the code is ready, save the script and click Add to Chart. If everything is correct, the indicator should appear on your chart and RSI pane. The signal model is built around extreme zone behavior. This means the system does not treat every RSI touch as a signal. The main RSI levels are simple. 80 is the extreme high zone, 70 is the overbought zone, 50 is the center line, 30 is the oversold zone, 20 is the extreme low zone. A long setup is based on RSI moving into the lower extreme area and then reclaiming back above the extreme low zone. A short setup is based on RSI moving into the upper extreme area and then rejecting back below the extreme high zone. A touch alone is not enough. The system waits for a structured reclaim or rejection event. Trade projection translates an RSI signal into a structured entry, stop, and target framework. The projection does not guarantee that the market will move to the target. It simply gives you a visual planning structure. The entry price can be based on different modes, such as close, open, or HLC3. The stop-loss mode can use the signal candle, ATR, or a percentage-based method. Then the risk-reward multiplier converts the risk distance into a projected take-profit level. There is also a same-bar priority setting. This helps decide whether TP or SL should be counted first when both appear to be touched on the same candle. This is useful for consistent review and backtesting assumptions. The status panel helps you monitor the oscillator state quickly. Instead of manually checking every value, the panel summarizes the most important information. It can show the smoothed RSI value, the signal line value, the current status, momentum direction, and structure. The alert system helps you monitor key events without staring at the chart all day. You can create alerts for RSI crosses, reclaim events, centerline alerts, long and short entry signals, TP hits, and SL hits. The purpose is simple. Stay organized, react to confirmed events, and avoid emotional over-monitoring. A strong indicator becomes much more useful when it is used with a repeatable workflow. Start by choosing the symbol and time frame that match your plan. Then, wait for RSI reclaim conditions. Do not rush into a setup before the signal forms. Next, confirm the signal at bar close. After confirmation, review the projection, the panel, and your risk plan. Then, use alerts to stay organized. Finally, review the outcome and learn from the result. The checklist is simple. Was the code added correctly? Are RSI signal and levels visible? Are trade boxes enabled if needed? Is the panel in the right position? Are alerts created? And most importantly, is your risk plan ready? Now, let's look at the RSI engine settings. These are the core inputs that shape how the indicator behaves. The source defines which price source is used for RSI calculation. The RSI length controls sensitivity. A lower length reacts faster, but it can also create more noise. A higher length reacts more slowly and may appear smoother. The smooth mode helps reduce oscillator noise. You can use options such as none, EMA, SMA, or RMA. The signal length creates a supporting signal line which is used for structure reading. For beginners, the best approach is simple. Start with the default settings, observe the behavior, and change only one parameter at a time. The RSI state model divides oscillator behavior into readable zones. This helps you avoid treating RSI as just one moving line. Extreme high represents stretched upside conditions. Overbought means momentum is elevated. The center line represents balance between buyers and sellers. Oversold means momentum is depressed. Extreme low represents stretched downside conditions. The purpose of the state model is to give context. It helps you understand where RSI is located and what type of behavior may be forming. But remember, a zone is not a trade signal by itself. The signal comes from the reclaim or rejection behavior after RSI leaves an extreme area. Raw RSI can react very quickly, but it can also be noisy. That noise can make it harder to read structure clearly. Smoothing helps create cleaner oscillator behavior. It does not make the indicator magical. It simply makes the RSI curve easier to interpret. The signal line acts as a secondary reference for structure. When RSI is above the signal line, the oscillator structure can be read as stronger. When RSI is below the signal line, momentum may be softer or weaker. The key idea is simple. RSI is the main engine, the signal line is the supporting reference, and the reclaim event is the actual signal event. A long signal follows a clear reclaim sequence. First, RSI enters or touches the lower extreme zone. At this point, there is no confirmed long signal yet. It only means that the oscillator has reached a stretched downside area. Second, RSI reclaims back above the extreme low level. Third, you wait for bar close confirmation. the candle must close with the reclaim condition confirmed. Only after that does the long signal become valid for review. This helps reduce temporary signals that appear while the candle is still open. The key rule is simple. A touch alone is not enough. The system waits for a structured reclaim. A short signal follows the opposite logic. First, RSI enters the upper extreme zone. This does not mean you instantly sell. It only means that the oscillator has reached a stretched upside area. Second, RSI drops back below the extreme high level. This shows a rejection from the extreme zone. Third, you wait for the candle to close. If the bar closes and the condition remains valid, the short signal becomes active for review. Overbought is not a sell signal by itself. Confirmation matters. The system is designed to wait for rejection, not emotional reaction. Bar close confirmation is one of the most important parts of the system. RSI can move while the candle is still open. During the candle, it may look like a signal is forming, but before the candle closes, that movement can disappear. This creates false intrabar signals. That is why the indicator focuses on confirmed conditions. A confirmed close gives you a more stable signal. It doesn't guarantee success, but it helps reduce unfinished candle noise. Do not treat an unfinished candle as a completed signal. Wait for confirmation, then review the setup with your full process. Entry price modes define how the projected entry line is calculated after a signal. The close mode uses the closing price of the signal bar. This is usually the simplest option for review. The open mode uses the opening price of the signal bar. This can be useful for comparing different projection references. The HLC3 mode uses the average of high, low, and close. This gives a more balanced reference price. Important point: this setting does not place real orders. It only changes the projected entry reference on the chart. The purpose is to help you review the setup more clearly. The stop-loss mode determines how the projected risk boundary is calculated. Signal candle mode uses the signal candle as the stop reference. For long setups, it can use the low of the signal candle. For short setups, it can use the high of the signal candle. ATR mode uses volatility and an ATR multiplier. This allows the stop distance to adapt to market movement. Percent mode places the stop a fixed percentage away from the entry. Changing the stop mode changes the projection, not the underlying signal logic. So the signal may stay the same, but the risk structure can look different. Choose the stop model that fits your strategy and review process. Risk and reward targets are built from the distance between entry and stop. First, the system calculates the risk distance. Then, the risk-reward multiplier defines how far the projected target should be. For a long setup, the target is calculated above the entry. For a short setup, the target is calculated below the entry. For example, if entry is 100, stop is 98, and the risk is 2 points, a 3R target would project a target at 106. But this is only a planning tool. It is not a guarantee. Markets may not reach the target. Always use proper risk management and realistic expectations. Sometimes, one candle may appear to touch both the target and the stop. This creates an ambiguity. Which one happened first? The same bar priority setting gives you a consistent rule for review. If TP first is selected, the take profit result is recorded first. If SL first is selected, the stop loss result is recorded first. This does not reconstruct real tick-by-tick movement. It simply gives you a standard rule for reviewing historical candles. Use one priority consistently during your review. Changing priority can change how results are interpreted. The status panel summarizes the oscillator context at a glance. The RSI value shows the current smoothed RSI. The signal value shows the supporting signal line value. The status field describes the current RSI zone, such as bullish, bearish, neutral, overbought, oversold, extreme high, or extreme low. Momentum shows whether RSI is moving up, strongly down, or flat. Structure shows whether RSI is above, below, or at the signal line. The panel should be read as context. It is not a standalone trade command. It helps you understand the environment before making a decision. Alerts help you build a cleaner workflow. First, add the indicator to the chart. Then, open the Create Alert window. Next, select RSI Entry Engine as the condition. After that, choose the event you want to monitor. For entry signals, using once per bar close is often cleaner. because it aligns with confirmed candle logic. You can also name your alerts clearly using the symbol, time frame, and direction. For example, RSI long signal, NQ, 15-minute chart. If you change the indicator settings later, recreate the alert so it reflects the latest rules. The indicator includes multiple alert types. RSI bullish and bearish cross alerts monitor when RSI crosses the signal line. OB and OS reclaim alerts monitor reclaim behavior around overbought and oversold zones. Centerline alerts monitor crosses around the 50 level. Long and short entry signals monitor confirmed reclaim or rejection signals. TP hit and SL hit alerts monitor the projected take profit and stop loss levels for active projections. Different alerts serve different purposes. Some are useful for structure shifts. Some are useful for confirmation. Others are useful for trade management and review. Use alerts to support your workflow, not to replace your judgment. A clean chart helps you make better decisions. Too many visuals can create confusion. Use trade boxes only when you are planning or reviewing a setup. Limit historical projections if the chart becomes crowded. Move or hide the status panel if it takes too much space. Toggle visual zones only when they help your analysis. A good beginner rule is this: start with the RSI pane and the status panel. Then add projection boxes only when they add value. Do not overload the chart. A clean screen usually leads to cleaner thinking. The daily routine is designed to keep your process consistent. First, choose your symbol and time frame. Second, watch for reclaim conditions. Let price form structure and let RSI move into an extreme zone. Third, wait for bar close confirmation. Fourth, review the panel, projection, and risk. Fifth, use alerts to stay organized. Sixth, record the outcome and refine your process. The mindset is important. Do not use the tool impulsively. Use it consistently. Small, repeatable steps lead to better review, better discipline, and better decision-making over time. Here is a structured long scenario. First, RSI reaches the lower extreme area. This shows that downside momentum is stretched. Second, RSI reclaims back above the extreme low level. Third, the bar closes and confirms the reclaim. Fourth, the projection appears on the chart. Now you can see the projected entry, stop, target, and risk metrics. Fifth, risk and context are checked. This is where you ask the important questions. Does the stop make sense? Does the projection fit your plan? Is the market context acceptable? A long signal means RSI reclaimed from the lower extreme area. It does not mean price is guaranteed to rise. Now let's look at a short scenario. First, RSI reaches the upper extreme area. This shows that upside momentum is stretched. Second, RSI falls back below the extreme high level. This creates the rejection logic. Third, the bar closes and confirms the signal. Fourth, the short projection appears. The stop is placed above, the target is projected below, and the setup becomes ready for review. Fifth, risk and context are checked. A short signal means RSI rejected from the upper extreme area. It does not mean price must fall. You still need market context, risk management, and discipline. Before using the tool seriously, go through the final checklist. Was the code added without errors? Are RSI signal and key levels visible? Are trade boxes enabled if needed? Is the panel in the right position? Are the alerts created and working? Is your risk plan ready? Use the tool responsibly. RSI Entry Engine is a decision support and review tool, not an auto trading bot. There is no guarantee every signal will work. Projection is a planning aid, not a certainty. Test with demo, backtesting, and observation before live use. Educational use only. That was the complete RSI Entry Engine user guide. Now you understand the full workflow: setup, RSI levels, reclaim logic, smoothing, signal confirmation, trade projection, alerts, and structured review. The purpose of this tool is not to make emotional decisions for you. The purpose is to help you read RSI behavior with more structure, more clarity, and more discipline. If you want cleaner indicators, structured trading tools, and more professional market review systems, follow Trades with Meat and stay connected. Thanks for watching. Trade with discipline, manage your risk, and always remember, this content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice.